I hear Pākehā with these agonising questions: am I appropriating? Am I stealing? Well, those questions arise when we're empty. We can ask Maori to supply our spiritual void, our spiritual emptiness. And that's colonising again, in a way. I was an artist, full-time artist. Then I became a full-time writer that I still am, and I recently retired from psychotherapy. Since I turned 70, I started online teaching the sacred art of ritual to help people connect with the earth more deeply. Hello, I'm Juliet Batten. I'm setting up an altar here. You want to bring in symbols that have life energy in them. Ritual is about bringing the magic back into life. In the late 70s, in feminism, we were really doing analyses which were about how structures support certain forms of oppression. And then, of course, Maori women were involved in feminism, and they started saying, well, you white people with your structures, you're oppressing us. Then we started having anti-racism workshops. And the anti-racism work, it just filtered into everything I did. There's a shock when you first find out how colonisation has affected and still affects Maori. Not only me, but most of my friends, we just felt so guilty. We didn't actually do those bad things personally. It was our people who did it. But we are part of the institutions and the consequences. We participate in the privilege that was gained from those actions. And in the end, we have to take responsibility. We can't change the past, but we can change the future starting from today. I think of them as different layers of work, the anti-racism work. One layer is really the political, economic work, and there's the social health work, and then there's the cultural layer, and this is where my work lies. I teach ritual work to help people feel more connected with the land. When we're grounded in who we are, that's when we're better able to relate to those who are different from us. All the stories are coming out now about Captain Cook's encounters with Maori, and we need, as Pākehā, to hear the stories and be strong enough to feel the pain. To be strong enough to feel the pain, we need to be strong in our own identity. I think so many Pākehā, we're up in our heads. There has been a separation from the old earth-based spirituality. There's also a huge dislocation from the land. When the white settlers came to Aotearoa, they brought with them the Gregorian calendar, and they just imposed it on this land, and they didn't even notice that they were 6 months out of alignment. And so they didn't notice that they were celebrating Christmas and summer solstice. Whereas the Christmas festival, for example, it's a winter solstice festival, and it belongs in June in the middle of winter. And that comes from a certain mindset of superiority, and certainly not able to understand Indigenous culture. So how do Pākehā come into reciprocal relationship with Māori when so many feel bereft and they say, I'm empty, I don't have anything, I go to the marae, Māori are so full of spirituality. If we come into a relationship feeling that we're empty and we need to be filled up, we're going to take. We're going to say to the others, fill me up, give me what I haven't got. Now that's not coming into relationship of giving and receiving, a reciprocal relationship. I can relate to so many of the Māori spiritual practices, but they're not mine from my heritage. If I dig deep enough into my ancestry, what I find is my Celtic ancestors were closely connected with the land. We too celebrated the harvest, the planting. They put posts in the ground to mark the movement of the sun. They watched the stars. They were different stars, of course, but I've grown up here with these Southern Hemisphere stars. When I find that richness in me, then I'm not having to take anything from Maori. I have something to give. My Celtic ancestors would always begin their rituals with honouring the 4 elements of life: the water, the fire, the earth and the air, and they would honour the centre, which is the meeting point where everything comes together. I usually offer my work to the sea and do it on the incoming tide, so the sea comes and takes it. So working with ritual is working with transformation on many, many levels. Connecting with our own ancestry as Pākehā gives us a place to stand. Then we can get on with doing the work that needs to be done. To build partnership with Māori through shared spiritual values, to gather and share the taonga from our different cultures and join together in being kaitiaki of this beautiful land.